So a branch from the lightning tree also offers up the old notion of what you could call a myth teller, someone that speaks stories orally into communities, as a possible way of carrying what Sean Kane says, as a writer, he says, myths are the power of a place speaking. So they are no longer just the business of societal control or human allegory. They're something far deeper. They are part of some ancient alignment. So the book talks about the idea that you may not be a storyteller as such. It's not your vocation to speak the stories particularly, but there is no one living that isn't a story carrier. A story carrier is to be connected to the walk of your own life. It's quite simple. All its dark, marshy complexities, all its brightly lit celebrations, and every bit between them. And in some way, you have found a way of communicating it. It could be the way you paint your boat. It could be the way that you defend the first time you defend your children. But in some way it's embodied, in some way it is walked, in some way it is felt, in some way it is danced. And so I'm going to read a little bit from the book and sort of stop and start as I go. Also, this notion that these stories, as I said, are arising from the ground somehow. The joy of an oral culture is the old bones of story reconnecting to the inflamed tissue of spontaneous language. It is a very specific kind of animation, an incantational convergence of narrative tracks worn smooth by a whole line of storytellers, and then suddenly giddy new vistas of linguistic image that are only glimpsed in that telling and in that moment. Oral culture suggests that the voice spoken in this attunement tries to reach towards the harsh thinking of the wind moving over a moor, or the excitement of the bat as it senses dusk. So does nature think? A large aspect of something like a wilderness fast is to create an access of experience that somehow accommodates the thought ripples of nature. Now this is a complicated business. The thinking of nature could well seem inexpressible. To truly encounter it involves a coming adrift entirely from village-centered ambition. What we are left with is a secondary, strange image language that seems open to the possibilities of wide associations. And now this old idea of the myth teller is someone that can articulate the story from many positions. Its empathies are generous and its community oceanically wide. To hold rigidly to the script is to deny actually what Finn McCool calls the music of what is. The more defended we are, the more in dominion, the more linguistically scripted, the more wildness shrinks from us. The patterning of crows over a winter field could be an oracular thought of the mud, the sky, and the bird. The elegant procession of the reindeer across a spring meadow is a part of some epic train of imagination that has been running for tens of thousands of years. The swift dive of the killer whale is a new vision from an ancient sea. The 100 ways the otter gleefully crosses a stream is the very same way the storyteller splashes their way through a story. It's the same destination but differing currents, details and varying intensities of stroke. But make no mistake, the animals are myth tellers in the way that they are.